Good day, fellow observers. Today we are going to do a get out of New York test, and we are specifically going again to American Dream, and this is a test for 12.5.2. It is a 1 hour 4 minute 23-mile drive. Now let me activate FSD. Okay, so we are parked by the hydrant. And I guess I'd have to press the accelerator here. Or maybe not. Okay, no. So we are at a stop here. Okay, so we are making a right and FSD is creeping, which is good. Oh, okay. So we stopped and that was a good stop. Okay, now we are at an all-way. Okay, now we continue to advance. And we have a green light here, we are crossing. Then we have an all-way here. Okay, good. So it's always the 3-second rule. All right. So just an update or a background information. The last time we did the get out of New York test was when this car had a poor GPS accuracy issue, and so I went to the service center, and what turned out to be a problem with SD cards, and they weren't able to restore the files, so they replaced it, and as part of warranty. So I haven't had the issue since. And let's see how FSD does for this test. Okay, so we are at a stop here and we are creeping along. Alright, so I'm pressing the accelerator because it was too slow. So now we are here, and I'm not sure why is it muted. So we are making a left here. And we are at the middle lane. So I'm muted. Alright. So the time now is around 2 p.m. It's 1:58 p.m. on a Saturday. I haven't drove going out of New York at this time, so it may be that the traffic could be less or could be more. We'll have to find out later. Because usually in the morning when you get out of New York, that's where the traffic is. But I'm not sure when you do it in the afternoon. Now let's see, I'm actually curious. Okay, I think we still have some traffic going out, going to George Washington Bridge, so that's just a heads up. post a comment here on tolls. So toll in 1 mile, all lanes, easy pass, or toll billed by mail, no cash. So we're all in the automated system now.
In 1 mile, keep left to stay on Interstate 295 north toward Interstate 95 south.
Okay, so we're passing through the toll. I saw the lights flashing. And now sometimes here, because I think right now FSD is on the middle lane and not really speeding, and I'm seeing a police car on the right. So usually if FSD goes to the passing lane,
now keep left to stay on Interstate 295 north.
There's a chance that the speed that it has will always be a bit less than the flow of traffic. So at times it is gonna be like the past test, I had to manually adjust it. So just an FYI. So I'm just checking here some settings.
In 1,000 feet, keep left to stay on Interstate 295 north toward Interstate 95 south. Now keep left to stay on Interstate 295 north.
So now we're making a lane change, but it postponed because it doesn't see a window. Okay, now we're making the lane change. Okay, I think we're slowing down here now. And I'm seeing red lines here on the nav. So this is where it starts. Okay, so we have a signal here. So I think it says FSD degraded because one of the cameras are occluded, but nothing changed except for the fact that we're under an overpass. So I'm thinking that maybe the light, because it's so dark, it thinks that the left camera is blocked. Okay, so FSD is kind of veering away from the person on the left side, and FSD is able to adjust. Yeah, you have this again, multiple cameras blocked or maybe blinded. So I think it's because of the light, that's why it has that error. Okay, good adjustment here for the car that just merged. So we are slowing down. Okay, you see this? I thought it's gonna try to veer to the right lane. I mean the middle lane. I was about to take over. So just a trip update, we are 2.7 miles away from the exit. We're going to exit 1A. Okay, so I'm pressing the accelerator here because FSD is stopping abruptly. I mean, slowing down abruptly. I think because whenever the truck kind of goes right beside FSD, that's when I feel that it's slowing down. So I'm gonna observe again. Okay, nothing really. Okay, might not be it. Okay, good adjustment here. FSD kind of slowed its advance for this merging SUV. Okay, so now we're trying to make a lane change. Oh, okay, it postponed. Okay, we have some room here. Okay, so I'm pressing the
In 1
accelerator.
mile, keep right to take exit 1A onto Interstate 95 South, US 1 South.
So I pressed the accelerator and eventual disengagement because it wasn't sure of what it's gonna do. So I'm reactivating FSD now. Okay, so now we are making a lane change again, but it postponed the lane change. So we are 0.5 miles away from exit 1A. Let's see how FSD will do this lane change, or maybe I should disengage once again. Okay, good. Short notice lane change. So we are 0.3 miles away, and as you can see, there is another on-ramp coming from the right side. And in this lane, there will be a lot of cars that will go in and out. And let's see how FSD will manage in doing so. So last time that we did it on 12.5.1.3, I believe, that it was cautiously advancing, and that was a reasonable behavior for FSD because a lot of cars were going in and out. So we're here now. Let's see how it does. Okay, so as you can see, the steering wheel now is turning. So I would have thought that FSD would make a lane change right about now, but maybe it will do it further down. Okay, good adjustment here by FSD. Not
Now
advancing
keep right
fast.
to take exit 1A.
So we are keeping right. So which is this? So we don't really have to make a lane change actually. Alright, so this is good. We're at a good spot at the moment, and so we go straight ahead.
In 1,000 feet, keep left to take Interstate 95 south, US 1 south toward New Jersey.
Okay, good lane change right there. We had enough room. It was not an abrupt lane change, but it was able to execute it right away as well. So we are going to the lower level of George Washington Bridge, and from the looks of it, we have
Now keep left to take Interstate 95 south.
we have better traffic coming out of the bridge. So let's see. Okay, good. FSD is good with following the lanes. Now we're making a lane change to the left. Okay, good.
In 1 mile, bear right to stay on Interstate 95 south. Then bear right to stay on Interstate 95 south.
Okay, so I'm seeing poor GPS location accuracy. Let's see if it disappears. Okay, we're making a lane change. Good. Okay, so it disappeared. So I think it's just because of the network. So I'm not sure. So now let's see if we would have the same functionality before the issue, that poor GPS issue. So FSD is very good at going through these directions. A lot of turns here, but it had a problem when we had that GPS issue on 12.5.1.3. But before that, it
Now
was
bear right to stay on Interstate 95 south.
it was easy for FSD, like it didn't get lost.
Now bear right to stay on Interstate 95 south. In 500 feet, keep right to take Interstate 95 south toward Hackensack. Now keep right to take Interstate 95 south.
Okay, good. So I was able to go through those instructions spot on. And just a trip update, we are 13 minutes away, 8.3 miles. So I'm seeing that the flow of traffic here is faster than what we currently have, the speed. So I'm increasing it.
In 1 mile, keep left to stay on Interstate 95 south toward Newark.
So I decreased the speed because FSD's auto speed setting increased it further. So I just decreased it. Okay, we have a lane change here, good. Okay, there are no lanes here.
Now keep left to stay on Interstate 95 south.
Okay, good, it's able to keep left. I think we're running even faster, so I'm slowing down the speed further. Okay, good lane change.
In 1 mile, keep left to take Interstate 95 toward 16 west.
Okay, good lane change to the passing lane.
Now keep left to take Interstate 95.
Okay, good slowdown here. So just a trip update, we are 6 minutes away, 3.3 miles. I would expect FSD to make lane changes. If I'm driving, I would have made a lane change here. Okay, good adjustment. FSD did in advance further to let this van merge. Okay, I'm reconsidering my comment. So earlier I said I would have lane changed here, but turns out this lane was faster, so maybe that's the reason why it's staying here up until the right exit is close by.
In 1 mile, keep right to take exit 19W toward Meadowlands Complex.
Alright, so should be any time now. Okay, so we are anticipated lane change. Alright, so we are making one more lane change here.
Now keep right to take exit 19W.
Okay, so these are tolls here and there's no booth. Again, it's more of an automated system at this point in this area. Now we are approaching...
In 1,000 feet, turn left to stay on Meadowland Sports Complex.
The American Dream Mall, and I will most likely disengage soon.
Now turn left to stay on Meadowland Sports Complex.
Okay, good slowdown here and the lane change. Okay, we are making a lane change again.
Now keep left to take Meadowland Sports Complex.
And then we keep left. Okay, good. So we are here, and let me just disengage once we stop here, and American Dream is right there. So just want to give my takeaways. We started from Bayside, Queens, and we ended up here in New Jersey. So we did some all-way stops there, and it was good, and it was able to, FSD was able to get off from the double parked state, and so that was good. And in addition, it was able to manage the merge towards I-295, was it? I think it's the Clearview Expressway, and then it headed to Throg's Neck Bridge and went through the Bronx.
100 feet, your destination will be on the right.
And so FSD was good in its travels because I think the GPS issue is no longer there. Now the thing is, approaching the George Washington Bridge, right, we encountered heavy traffic, and FSD was for the most part able to adjust to the stop and go. But the thing is, there was one time that I had to press the accelerator because FSD kind of slowed down, and also there was one time that it made a lane change, so it had some postponements, and there was one lane change that it did that it was very hesitant. So I pressed the accelerator and eventually disengaged and execute the lane change myself. And that was because I had to do it, so we're making sure that we're actually making the lane change to the middle lane. And whenever I see FSD being hesitant, so that's kind of like the cue to do it yourself from my end. And then we went through George Washington Bridge. Oh, by the way, before we talk about the George Washington Bridge, I also noticed that if we are under an overpass, which makes things dark, it actually causes FSD to think that the cameras are occluded, and so hence the notice by FSD earlier where FSD may be degraded, cameras are blocked. And then when we got through going through George Washington, so going in, it was able to adjust through the stop and go when a lot of cars were going in and out of the lane. and then also it was able to follow the tight lines in George Washington. So I had to point out as well that there was a brief poor GPS accuracy issue, and I think that was reasonable because at that point, even I think cell phones don't have signal there, and so I think it was because of that. It's just a network dead zone. And then once we got out of George Washington Bridge, FSD didn't have any issues in navigating through the many ramps going to I-95 South. So I think that makes it clear that GPS issue is no longer a concern for this car after this has been sent to the service center. And also I would have to say that once we got through I-95 South, FSD was able to make the necessary lane changes. There was a time that I would have wanted to make a lane change earlier, but as we drove further, I realized that the leftmost lane, which is the passing lane, it was moving faster, so I took it back. And so now we arrived here, and the toll booths are automated, and there's no longer like human beings collecting toll. And it's good to do this test again after the repair. I keep on repeating this because it just makes me feel better not to think about whether FSD will get lost, and you'd have to kind of piece things together while your map is not loading. So that's more of an FYI, guys. If you have that issue and it's not disappearing, send it to service. Might have some problems with the files in an SD card. So those are all my takeaways for this test. This is the Get Out of New York test. We head out to American Dream Mall, and if you find this video helpful or of value, please like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.